Hi guys, it is Belle here and I'm a little bit late with this one, but it is time for the next card in the hashtag ABCJLC challenge hosted by the very sweet Jodi over at Jodi Lewis Creations. Links to her channel will be down below. Please do go check it out. It is an alphabetical challenge and I am working on these little sort of 3x5-inch index cards, and today or this week's is J. We could have done Jodi, but our prompts are jewelry, jam, jazz and jewel. I mean, don't they just roll off the tongue? Jewelry, jam, jazz and jewel. And immediately jazz spoke to me. So we are going for a 1920s, slightly Poirot inspired, come on, no one's surprised, card today. For jam, I just thought of jamming out to music, you know. It's not music, but jam and jazz, kind of music and all that. Jewelry and jewel, very similar. So let's get started. First of all, I have these Jolie's dimensional stickers. It is called New Orleans. There is the number. We have this funky guy playing the saxophone. Well, saxophone. I don't know why in this house we always say saxophone. Must be off something. We've got this pretty lady. It says jazz on there, but I don't think we're going to use that. Then I have a whole host of little jewel gems. I don't often get to play with them, so this is fun. And then one of my favourite Graphic 49 pads. I only have the small one. I do have a few bits of ephemera, but I can't find the ephemera right now. But I can find the pad. And this is their vintage Hollywood pad. Try to see where the number is. It's down there. I'm going to hold it up. It's 450152. This is their 8x8 pad. I love this. We are going 1920s. I'm not sure I've said before on this channel, but I am a little obsessed with the 1920s. I love everything. I love the fashion. It doesn't suit me, but it's fun. I love the architecture. I love the art. I love everything. The 1920s, sort of late 1914, 15, through the First World War, up and through to about 1930s, but specifically 1920s. So this is going to be our jazz player who's jamming out, because saxophones are one of the main instruments used in jazz music, and the 1920s became known, especially in America, as the jazz age. However, that's more because it came into the sort of more public, widespread sphere, mainly due to things like records and recording becoming more popular by the 1920s. So music had a greater reach than it had before. But, you know, we have to remember that jazz came from the African American cultures. It came from a mix of different musical styles that were very important to the African community, and it's when it started to become popular with records and blare those kind of move forward into a wider sphere that then it becomes known as the jazz age. But it actually started more earlier than the 1920s, like in the late 1800s. And the big places that became known for jazz were places like New York, but also New Orleans. So that's a bit of history. I don't know a lot about it. I'm not really the biggest jazz fan, but I do like some of it. But what this then made me think of, in particular, this image. So we're going to start getting some papers out. What it made me think of was, I'm trying to think, do I want to cut this out? We've got two images that I want to use, so we are using that. Honestly, this design, oh, it's so lovely. But what it made me think of that image was the Poirot, because if you don't know, here in the UK, the Poirot series that came out with David Suchet and Hugh Fraser, where David Suchet plays Poirot, was sort of late 1980s into 1990s, and the music for that, because it was 1920s, was very jazz-esque in tone. And actually, particularly in the first part of, I'm just going to cover this whole thing and then we're going to do extras to it. Specifically in the first season, there was a jazz saxophonist who was hired to work on the show. What was his name? Stan Saltzman, I think it was. And he became so well known for what he was doing on the show that they renamed his saxophone the Poirot phone, because it wasn't just the opening credits, it was sort of anytime Poirot was solving a case and things like that. Now, there are a lot of stories set in clubs and things like that in Agatha Christie's Poirot, not so much Miss Marple, but specifically Poirot, and a few short stories. That's just pretty as is. There's a lot of stories set in kind of clubs and things like that. But as this also had a jewel and jewellery on it, I was thinking, there's quite a lot of Poirot stories. He's mostly in my head. One, Poirot's set more in the 1920s. He's a refugee from the First World War. He's a Belgian refugee. So we get a lot of his stories set 1920s upward. Miss Marple's stories tend to be more after the 1940s and 50s. So for this era, Poirot's perfect. And also I am rereading Poirot at the moment from the beginning again for like the 100th time. Not that many, but still. Anyway, so that made me think of his stories where there are jewels. Even what is it, Poirot's Christmas case or something like that, the case of the Christmas pudding, I think it's called. Even that has a gem involved in it. But I was looking specifically for one that would kind of work with the images I've got, or thinking specifically for one that would work with these images. And a short story came out in 1923. It is now referred to, or is on the show as well, the TV show, as the jewel robbery at the Grand Metropolitan, which is a hotel. But when it originally came out in the UK, it was called the Curious Disappearance of the Opalson Pearls. Opalson? Yeah. And in America, it was just called Mrs. Opalson's Pearls. And it came out as a short story, but it can now be found as one of the short stories in the Poirot Investigates collection, which, as I said, is a collection of short stories. Now, it is set in a hotel where we have Mrs. Opalson and her very rich husband. I think they might even be American. And her pearls go missing. And Poirot is at the hotel at the time. And the case goes from there. But we're going to set ours. I'm thinking if Mr. and Mrs. Opalson came to England or were staying in London, I feel like they would most definitely, he is definitely going to go there, go to a jazz club. I mean, it just makes sense. Doesn't that make sense? I think it makes sense. I mean, how could you come to London and not go to a jazz club or something? So this couple, I'm feeling, even though it says it's Mary Pickford and whatever his name is, to me, they're representing Mr. and Mrs. Opalson. They are very different to how they are described in the book, but we're just having a bit of creative license here, and we're just going to do it a little bit differently. It's either going to be this image, which could go down here. feel like they're walking into the club and he's playing his tunes, his German. Anyway, yeah. So that's what, I love all this too. I love this paper so much. I'm trying to see if I've got a bigger, I've already cut them out of that image. Have I got another one of those with the numbers? I thought I had the numbers at the beginning here. Maybe not. We might have to cut them off here. So let's do that because I'm thinking I might want these. I don't know what I want. So let's just cut and trim and see. So yeah, these are the Opalsons. She's still got her pearls because you can see she's still got her pearls on. This is before they've gone missing. Maybe they went out on a night out first and then I would definitely cut around them. And then the jewels go missing when they get back from clubbing. So yes, that's what we are going to go with. Yeah, there's so many jewel stories or treasures in with the Poirots. There's less of that with the Miss Marple stories. But you know, I just love the 1920s era, and Poirot is perfect for it, even though a lot of his stories then go later. But yeah, just love the costumes. I cannot wear a flapper dress. I do not suit that straight up and down style, but oh my goodness, do I love the look of them. Oh, this was the era, wasn't it, guys? Fashions were changing. You've just come out of the Great War. Everyone was trying to just feel better about life and enjoy life a lot more. I want him German. I'm wondering about having that off to the side. That could almost look like the doorway that they're coming into. I do kind of like that. And we've got the flowers on there that add a bit of summer. I need something else here, but we can work that out. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this one rather than this one. We're definitely going to bring in some music. We can't talk about jazz and music without bringing some in. I'm wondering if I want something else completely here. We've actually got on the outside of here the complete border. So I could actually use the whole border, or we've got the rest from here, but I think I'd like a whole border. Just look how pretty this is. I could have used this because they've got a bigger border, couldn't I? I could have done that. See, I pulled the sheet out. I knew I had another one. Well, we've cut this one out now. I'm not going to play around and cut another one out, but what I might do is cut this. I don't even know what I was saying now. Yeah, we were coming out of the First World War, the Great War. So much had happened and it changed so much within society. And I just think you then have the appearance of these bright young things that is probably in recovering from the trauma that the world had gone through. And suddenly dresses could be shorter. You could show your ankle. Shocking. And people just wanted to dance and have fun. It almost went too far the other way. But it's definitely in response to what society had gone through. And suddenly dresses were flowy and soft. And you didn't have to wear all these girdles and corsets and all these horrible things that everyone was wearing pre the Great War. And as much as I love, and I do love, like the Victorian Edwardian kind of like rooms, the dark greys and things like that, as much as I love all that, I'm wondering about bringing this star one in. Wouldn't that be fun? Let's have a look at other papers. It's also really fun. Love the numbers on here too. Do we need the numbers? Saxophone. I love the 1920s becomes, oh, we've got this. I mean, that's just going to work, isn't it? That's just going to work. Let's use that. It's a little scrap anyway. In the 1920s, suddenly you start getting this movement out of the Victorian era where they were really into nature. Obviously, the Victorian era was a big era of discovery around the world, with plant life and all of that. And we follow that through, and you start getting in the 20s and 30s, and that you start getting Art Nouveau and why has the other one gone? Art Nouveau and I'll remember that in a minute. But you have like Rennie Mackintosh and everyone coming in with flowers and nature, and that sort of follows through. Fashion becomes a huge thing at this time because of all the differences that are happening. Oh, do you know what else I need? Well done me for remembering. I need to make a tab. And so you just get this, it feels like a burst of life after a really, really difficult time. And so much sorrow. And let me also check. Sorry, I need to work out where to put my tab. So I was kind of in the middle. So J could kind of go up a bit. Okay, that's all right. Yeah, you just get this burst of life, colour, music, everything's changing. Technology is advancing. Not as much as it's advanced now. It's crazy that when I was born, there was no such thing as like mobile phones, and barely anyone even had a computer or anything like that. I didn't use computers in schools. Even when I went to university, they had computers. But I remember buying myself, we're going to do a J this way. No, we'll have it this way. I remember buying myself a word, not a word processor, but yeah, something like that. Anyway, technology definitely has moved on crazily in the last 20 years. But back then, you know, obviously you had advancements. There were cars, there were aeroplanes. There's even stories, a Poirot story set on planes where everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's a tiny little thing that seats about 20 people, if that. And people are still nervous about it. So you're getting all this advancement in the world. And people just want to dance, have fun. So that's going to go there really nicely. And it will pick up the orange in here, which is great. Yeah, I just love the 1920s. Do we want it on top of it? That's what I'm wondering. I was going to put it underneath, but now I'm wondering if I want it on top. I kind of like it on top, so we're going to do it on top. See, changed my mind. I love the fact that in the 1920s things started to become rounder. The wood that was used was, instead of the really dark wood, we're still using some of that, but you're getting cherry wood and things really coming in and getting used. And then new advancements in, as I said, technology, but not just in technology such as planes and cars, but also things in clothing and the household. And yeah, it was just a time of change that blossomed out of a very dark period. And so I love it. And I love the roundness and the wood and all that good stuff. I love the decoration. It was very opulent. Before now, most people would have had opulence, but in a different way. The 20s was a time to go, have as much as you want. Go completely overboard. And yeah. And it's also when champagne glasses were created, cocktails were created. I mean, we all think of cocktails now, but they just weren't a thing. I kind of love that way. Do I want them underneath it? What I might do is I might glue them on. We might even have her poking over the edge. That's what we might do. I wasn't going to, but I think we might. It's not going to fit in my box properly. Do I want it that way or do I want it this way? I like it that way. Okay. Yeah, cocktail parties, cocktail making, champagne glasses, those little cute little round ones. I mean, so many things come from this kind of period onwards. And yeah, I just love it. So anyway, that's one of the things I do love about the Poirot books, because they are set in a time period that I really, really like. Put that on in a minute. I want them slightly underneath it. And he's dealing with all these bright young things and the change in art and the change to women, because obviously during the war, women, just like in the what becomes in the Second World War, women have slightly different role in society. They want more freedom. Women were fighting pre-war for the right to vote and things like that. And that all started to come to fruition during the 20s. So, you know, we're dealing with the changes to society and women, which I think sometimes Hastings in the Poirot books struggles with a little bit. But all in all, we've got all that going on, and it's just a really fun time to read about. Anyway, I think, oh, these are so old. I can't even remember when I brought these. I just remember I've also got, where are they? I have these stickers. Here they are. These are by American Traditional Designs. This is called After 5. Let me give you the number to that. Can you see that? Party Tunes. I have a whole collection of these. I've got the stickers, the charms and everything. But this is more 1950s, late 1950s going into the 1960s. I was going to use this though for the jamming bit, but I was like, no, we're going full on 20s. That's what we're going. That's what we're doing. He's playing the music on stage as they're coming in. I'm only going to partially put him down because I don't know. I would like to bring some music in, but I don't know if we need it. Maybe. Oh. This is why I only partially put him down. Please come back up. I need to stick that onto him and then stick that down. Wondering about bringing in a little bit of music down here. Maybe we could do that. Yeah. So, jazz and jamming. And I thought, oh, jazz, the 20s, gotta bring it in. And then obviously 20s, I was thinking, oh, Poirot. The show, if you've never seen the late 1980s to 1990s one with Poirot in it, the setting, like everything, it's so perfectly fits the theme. The music is great. The opening credits, oh my goodness, 20s all the way. You can still go to the place in London where these block of flats, or the flats that they used as Poirot's residence in London, is still there, still in really good condition in a 1920s style. Poirot likes everything neat and he likes things rounded. I tell you, I think I was Poirot in another life. And yeah, there we go. We've got some music on there now because we just need it. So Mr. and Mrs. Opalson are walking into the club. She obviously needs her pearls because we can't have her pearls stolen and her not have pearls. And then this will work for the jewellery aspect as well. Bom, bom. Oh my gosh. She's got to have her pearls. Although with a name like Opalson, you'd think it was opals, but nope. So they've gone to the club. She's worn her necklace. And then after this is when they go back to the hotel where they meet Poirot. She's taken her necklace off by this point because she's got changed, you know. Maybe maybe it's dinner time or whatever. And then the story goes from there. This is it's still on there. This is where the story takes place at the Metropolitan Hotel. That's the way I feel anyway. This is that. They've gone out dancing. They've gone out dancing. So she's got her pearls, which is jewelry. That's what we've got. And then we're going to add a little bit more bling bling. Got these. Woo. And I want to kind of do a design up here. I don't know where to have it coming down. Where do we want the gem? I feel like the gem could go about there. Yeah. So we're going to have this gem. Here's our gem. Da, 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 da. Again, I'm only going to very roughly put this down because I don't know how this is going to fit. We are going to have these hanging. Oh my goodness me. Right, these just don't like me. So let's try these ones. These are slightly different. I don't like how these lift up on that though. That's my problem. They're those kind of tweezers that are slightly backwards because you press them to open them, and I don't know, that seems counterintuitive to me. One of the things we know about the 20s was all the fringing and all the beadwork, so that's kind of what I want to recreate on the top of here, almost like it is fringing in the club or the kind of thing they would have worn on their dresses. That's what I'm going for. Oh my goodness. Me and these beads are not going to, me and these little gems are not going to get on, I don't think. This one does not want to stick, so. Right, we're going to have the gem can get stuck down properly now. You just don't want to stick. Stick down. Okay, well, maybe that one needs some glue on it. So I would love to know down below, do you really love jazz? It's a mix of so many great kind of styles. So I'm wondering if I want like a swoop design, actually. Swoop. Let's see. Yeah, it's so many different styles brought together. And I don't know, jazz is interesting. Actually, one of my sons really loves jazz pieces. We talk about it a lot because he really likes the kind of creative chaos that jazz seems to have. Obviously, it's not chaos. It's very... Oh my goodness me. It is very planned out and all that kind of thing, but it seems almost chaotic, which I think is what makes it so magical. And he really loves that. So yeah, we do talk about it. I think I'm going to have that and then another one. I just love the fact that the, what's his name again? Stan Saltzman's saxophone became known as Poirot-phone. I love that. It's so funny. Because of his role in the show. I don't even know if you can get that series in other parts of the world. I don't know. I just know that it is my favourite Poirot series to watch. It is a comfort watch for me. I love the 1920s feel. I love Suchet in it. I love Hugh Fraser. He plays the perfect Hastings as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it's a great show. It's a comfort watch. And I remember watching it when it first came out. I mean, that's the thing. It kind of brings back those memories of when you'd have to wait every year before. Now you can kind of binge watch a series. But you'd have to wait every year. And just that music alone is so nostalgic for me as a show. Yeah. Kenneth Branagh's remakes of some of the stories and are beautiful. I mean, you can tell Kenneth Branagh has a theatre background. I know I've spoke about this before on my channel, but his remakes of those movies like The Orient Express and Death on the Nile, stunning, absolutely stunning. But he's just not Poirot, not at all. He never will be, I'm sorry. He's taken another interpretation of Poirot. I get it. And in fact, it's only when I reread a recent book, which you'll find out in next month's wrap up, that I thought, oh, I understand where he gets, oh my gosh, the idea for the moustache. I get that now. Actually, we're going to get rid of one of these. But I'm sorry, he's not Poirot. He's just not. And I am still in two minds with how I feel about the remake of the Halloween story, Poirot's Halloween story, because it's, other than the characters and the murderer, it's nothing like the original at all, which isn't even set in Venice. Again, beautifully shot and atmospheric. And when I think about it in terms of, oh, it's not Poirot, it's just a fun, spooky kind of movie set in Venice, I'm fine with it. But as a Poirot remake, no, I'm not happy. I think that's it, guys. What do we think? I also wanted to try and put on, but I don't think it's possible, the music. The little, like, from his saxophone. Right, that's going to be in the way of Mr. What's his face's name? Mr. Opalson. Hold on, because I have an idea as well. Because it could go down here. We literally could put jazz. We don't need to. We don't need to write it on there because... oh, the sparkles, guys. The sparkles. I mean, how can we not have some sparkles? Let's even put it on here, shall we? Da, 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 da. Jazz. Da, 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 da. I apologise profusely. Do I want that on there? I don't know if I want it on there because I just love that. We could have them all around him because he's the one playing them. Do I want the bigger one on there? Is it because it's so little that it doesn't look like a musical? No, even though obviously it is, it just, maybe it doesn't look like it. Maybe there. Let's see what I think. No, I don't think I like it. Maybe just up here. We'll just do it up here. We'll just have a couple of notes up there. Okay, this is it. Oh, I love it. Look at that sparkle. Oh, gives me all the vibes. So jewellery. We've got Mrs. Opalson's pearl necklace. Jam. He's jamming out in the club. Jazz. I mean, it's a jazz club. All's good. And we've got the saxophone. Bonus jewel. We've got this beautiful jewel hanging down, which just catches the light. You just know there were girls dancing in this jazz club who had these jewels on their beautiful 1920s fringe dresses. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. I like it. I really do. I do have some words. Do I want to put a word on here? I was thinking even one in white. Oh, I just ordered a new set of these and I'm waiting for them to turn up because I use these all the time. Moment, thank you. Seen and noted. Nope, nope, nope. What's that one say? Fly. Dreamer of dreams. Nope, nope, nope. Hello. Maybe we don't need a word. I always want one. Original. Sweet life. Original. I kind of like the word original because it's to do with jazz. Heart and soul, that would go quite well, but I don't think there's enough space, but original will. So I want that up here because I feel like jazz is very original. Oh, yes. That just works. That really does. Okay, I'm super happy. It is finished now. I promise you, it is. What do we think, guys? What do we think? Let me know down below. Do you like jazz? Do you like the 1920s? I would love to know all of that. I mean, realistically, it's quite a simple card. There's not really any techniques on here, and I think that's slightly off center. But do I love it? I do. I really do. So that's it for now, guys. Please do go over and check out Jodi's channel and her challenge if you have not yet. I know a lot of you are enjoying it and joining in, so that's fantastic. Use the hashtag ABCJLC to see what everyone is doing here and on Instagram. And yeah, I'll be back again soon with the next load of prompts. These work so well together. I loved these ones. These were brilliant. I wonder what K is going to be. Yeah, that I'm already trying to work out what techniques or products could work for that. So yeah, that's it for now, guys. Hope you enjoyed this little visit to my 1920s jazz club with Mr. and Mrs. Opalson, enjoying themselves before her necklace gets stolen back home at the Grand Metropolitan. I'll be back again soon for another video. Until then, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're listening to some great music and having lots and lots of crafty fun. Bye for now, guys.